He is a popular name in the entertainment industry. He's produced many movies that have received critical acclaim and awards. In fact, he is regarded as a creative force in the industry. Nonetheless, many do not know that his career almost failed even before it started. He was rejected by some of the prestigious film schools in the United States. However, this did not derail him nor sway his dreams. In this video, we will go through Steven Spielberg's life and how he became the most influential and commercially successful filmmaker in history. Let's start with his early life.
My name is Steve Spielberg, and I just directed a movie called Jaws.
He was born on the 18th of December, 1946, in Cincinnati, Ohio, to Arnold and Leah Adler Spielberg. While his mother doubled as a restaurateur and concert pianist, his father was an electrical engineer whose input helped in the development of computers. 6 years after his birth, his father was employed by the Radio Corporation of America, so the whole family moved to New Jersey. In 1953, Spielberg started attending classes in a Hebrew school and was taught by the famous Rabbi Albert Lewis up until 1957. He had to attend a Hebrew school as his family were Reform Jewish Orthodox Jewish. The family later moved to Phoenix, Arizona, in 1957. At the age of 13, Spielberg had a bar mitzvah in the synagogue according to the Jewish law. Young Spielberg found it challenging to accept his faith and heritage. He was embarrassed about the perception of the Jewish practices. His embarrassment also stems from the fact that he suffered bullying from other kids. At an adolescent age, he drifted away from Judaism, especially after his family moved to another neighborhood and were the only Jews there. At a young age, Spielberg developed a passion for filmmaking. At the age of 12, he made his first home film, whose plot centered around a train wreck involving his toy trains. He also started making amateur movies using his father's movie camera. At 13, he made Escape to Nowhere, a 40-minute movie featuring his classmates. The film was so good and creative that it won first place in a statewide competition. In 1961, Spielberg started attending Arcadia High School for just 3 years. As a high school student, he directed his first independent movie, Firelight, but with the support of his father, the film aired at a local theater for an evening. During the summer, he worked at the editorial department of Universal Studios as an unpaid assistant. He later moved to Saratoga High School after his parents relocated to the town. A year after his graduation in 1965, Spielberg's parents divorced, and he had to relocate to Los Angeles with his father while the rest of his siblings stayed in Saratoga with his mother. Academics was not really Spielberg's priority. He had much interest in filmmaking, and this affected his grades. So when he applied to the University of Southern California's School of Theater, Film, and Television, he got a rejection letter due to his low grades. In spite of the first rejection, Spielberg applied to the same school for the second time, but was also rejected. 2 rejections were enough to deter or discourage anyone, but not Steven Spielberg. He held on to his dream of becoming an award-winning filmmaker and director. In fact, he tried for the 3rd time. Unfortunately, he was also rejected. Spielberg decided to try other schools. He applied to study English and cinema at California State University, Long Beach, and was accepted. One day, Steven Spielberg took a tour of Universal Studios, and he had a chance to speak to one of the executives at the company. The conversation led to the youngster getting a 3-day pass to the premises. On the 4th day, Spielberg went back to Universal Studios without access. He continued visiting the studio for 2 months and became an unofficial assistant. In 1968, the studio decided to give the young assistant an opportunity to write and direct a short theatrical film. Spielberg did so well with the movie that the short film got an award. The Universal Studios vice president, Sidney Sheinberg, offered the young filmmaker a 7-year directing contract. In 1969, Steven Spielberg dropped out of California State University and became a full-time director of television productions for Universal Studios. He got his first professional gig in the same year to direct the first episode of the horror film Night Gallery. The movie starred the superstar actress Joan Crawford, who was speechless and terrified at the inexperienced young man directing her. At the end of the film, Spielberg's contributions were not received by the crew, so he took a little break from the studio. Although he later went back to Universal Studios, Spielberg tried raising money to produce his own low-budget films, so he started writing screenplays and directing television episodes. These experiences helped him to experiment with his skills and gain more knowledge about filmmaking. Along the line, he started making steady income as most of his works received good reviews and impressions from producers. However, in 2002, the award-winning filmmaker went back to California State University and completed his Bachelor of Arts in Film and Electronic Media. From the 1960s until 2022, Steven Spielberg has directed 34 feature films and co-produced numerous works with other producers and directors. Steven Spielberg got 182 nominations and won 35 Academy Awards, 138 nominations and won 22 BAFTA Awards, and 91 nominations and 16 Golden Globe Awards. The award-winning filmmaker was married to Amy Irving in 1976. They had a son together but divorced in 1989. He later married actress Kate Capshaw in 1991, and they have 5 children together. Steven Spielberg was denied admission 3 times by a school he wished to attend, but he wasn't deterred. He fought rejection and went on to become the most influential filmmaker in history.